Hi, everybody. I am hopping on here really quick to discuss a couple of fan theories that I heard about in a YouTube video I watched over the weekend about friends. They're related to mental illness, and I wanted to see what you guys thought about it. First of all, to start, back in January when I did my book review video about books that describes Phoebe, one of the books that I read was called Girl Interrupted, which was a memoir by Susanna Kaizen about what it's like to be a patient in a psychiatric hospital. And that's one of the fan theories I wanted to talk about. The fan theory that is mentioned in this YouTube video is that the Friends characters are living in a psych ward. The apartments above Central Park are their hospital rooms, and Central Park Coffee House is the common area. Now, I think this theory could actually be true, as dark as it seems, because the mental disorders that the characters are slated to have are what they show. Like, for example, Monica has OCD. That's pretty obvious because you see how obsessed with cleaning she is and being perfect. Ross has anger management issues that predictably connect to another theory about losing custody of Ben. When I was doing research for my fan fiction, I Googled what happened to Ben after season 8. And the information that I found, I cannot find this article, but the article said that Jane Sibbett, who played Carol, and Jessica Hedge, who played Susan, were interviewed after Friends ended, and they said that Carol and Susan got full custody of Ben and moved him to London to go to boarding school. So what I did for my fan fiction was I had Rachel go to Paris with Emma and spend time there, and then eventually work her way up to moving back to New York to open her own boutique. And during her time in Paris with Emma, Rachel stayed in touch with Carol and Susan, so that way Emma could form a relationship with Ben. And then in my fan fiction, Ben comes out as gay when he turns 14. And I'm working on a fan fiction right now that focuses on updating one of my previous fan fiction chapters about Ben and Trevor getting married, that focuses on how they first meet, which is in high school. So Ross's mental disease is narcissistic personality disorder, and then he also has anger management issues, which, as I was saying, lead him to lose custody of Ben. Chandler has social anxiety, which is well documented throughout the series, and also connects to Matthew Perry's real life because he also talks in his memoir about how he had anxiety. So I have a feeling that was also worked into his character once he got cast as Chandler. Phoebe is schizophrenic, and there's another dark fan theory that kind of connects to this, that views to Phoebe being homeless and being schizophrenic and watching the other 6 people, the other 5 friends on the couch at Central Park talking and having a good time and wishing that she was part of the group, which actually connects well to what Rachel says to her in the season 5 episode, the one with the Kips, where they're talking about like what would happen if the friend group ever split apart. And Rachel says to Phoebe that she would lift right out of the group because she has no family connections. They have no connections because they didn't go to school together, because Rachel and Monica and Ross all went to high school together, and Chandler was college roommates with Ross. So that's how those three are connected. And Phoebe has actually no connection to the rest of them. So as sad as that fan theory is about Phoebe being a homeless person with no friends, I think it really ties into her character very well as the whole thing with being schizophrenic, like hearing voices in her head, and also the episode where she thinks the cat is a reincarnation of her mother. And then Rachel did not have a diagnosed mental disorder that was mentioned in the YouTube video. So what do you guys think, that if this theory actually would be canon to the show, which I don't think it is, but what disorder do you think Rachel would have? I'm not a therapist, so I can't diagnose disorders, and I don't think the people who made this fan theory video are therapists either. They're just people who like to create fan theories about TV shows and movies. And I will link that video in the description box. And the last character is Joey. His diagnosis is emotional regression. And this is shown in a couple of different ways throughout the series. Like, he's simple-minded in a lot of ways. He has, like, slow reactions to things. Like, for example, in an episode where they're getting ready to leave for London, he almost forgets his passport until Chandler reminds him to take it. And then in the finale, when Monica and Chandler bring Erica and Jack home from the hospital, he's slow to recognize that there are twins. Another proof of this that I have noticed is in the episode where Joey has the whole issue with his refrigerator breaking, and he tries to get Ross and Chandler to pay for the broken fridge when they don't even live in the apartment. The other example I have noticed is how he has an emotional attachment to the Hugsy stuffed animal and doesn't want to give it to Emma until Rachel says the reason why Emma wants that stuffed animal so bad is because it makes her think of her Uncle Joey. And then the final thing I wanted to talk about is the whole episode plot line about Joey going out with Phoebe's friend Sarah on a date and him not wanting to share his food with her. And then Phoebe is talking to Rachel about this in the coffee house, and Rachel confirms that he doesn't like to share his food because he takes food off of Emma's plate. And you can also see Joey's maturity sort of regress in the spin-off also later on in the seasons. So what do you think of this fan theory? Also, I had another question for you guys regarding Joey. Did you notice how in the one where Chandler can't remember which sister, how he has 6 older sisters, but when we get to the spin-off series, we only see 2 of his sisters. Gina, who is the one who goes to California to live with, and Mary Teresa, who is the youngest sister who comes to visit Joey and Gina and Michael in California in season 1, episode 17, the one where Joey's sister visits. So the other sisters that are in the birthday party episode for Joey are Cookie, Veronica, Tina, Dina, and Mary Angela. Dina also appears in season 8 when she's pregnant, and then she disappears and you never hear from her again. So that's a plot hole with Joey's family I never quite understood. Like, why don't Joey and Gina and Mary Teresa keep in touch with their other siblings. How come we never hear about Dina and Bobby Corso and their baby and how he's growing up? That's something I always found a confusing plot hole when it comes to Joey and his family. So weigh in below on the fan theories I mentioned and also what you think happened to the rest of Joey's sisters. Thank you for tuning in to this little mini video. Have a great day, and I will have a new reading progress video out on the 20th. So thank you. Have a great day.